Hello, everyone. Sorry, I totally thought I had rescheduled it for 4:45, not 4:30. So I apologize. Thank you, everyone, for waiting and being patient, or for those of you who did. I don't know if anybody left, but again, I do apologize. And of course, hope everyone is doing well. I was going to do a Summer Wells stream, but I'm still going to. That case is showing a lot of red flags already. So I still do plan on doing that. I started making a video last night. Actually, I know I haven't uploaded a video in a long time. I've been doing mostly live streams, but they just take so much time. So it's almost the point where I'd rather just talk about it. So I'm just gonna get my browser pulled up here in case there's anything I do want to show you guys. And as far as I know, I haven't had any issues with my last live stream where I was going to take it down because I think I got a little carried away with myself there on that last live stream, but it's okay. Hey Arch, hey Chica, Mariska, good to see you. Hi Lisa, Swamp Lover, thanks for being here. Christy, Joanne, Crisis Gas, hey Melissa, hey Shani, hey Scotty, Round and Round, Gray Rabbit, Matt Willis, Scorpion Lady, if you're still here. Yeah, I did. Well, I do. I mean, it's only I thought I was okay with that live stream that I did that I got a strike for. Where I just went over the anatomy of a false flag psyop, and 2 months later I got a strike for it. So who knows? I could get a strike for any one of these live streams at any time. Hey Kristen, look up Duty Ron on here. Ex-cop who just had the R's on. Oh geez, yeah. Don't get me started on Duty Ron. But it's interesting. Thank you for bringing that up. I didn't know that. I don't follow him. I haven't followed him. I think I watched maybe one or two of his live streams, and that's about it. And I didn't need to watch anymore. Hey, Coffee. Yeah, I don't either, Chica. And he's just it's like the know-all attitude kind of thing that I don't really care for either. So it's like, oh, since I'm an ex-cop, or I'm a cop, that means that I know everything that's going on with all these cases, when that's really just not the case at all. So it looks like for the most part, the people that are here are pretty aware. Hi, Shani. They're pretty aware of my theory and are leaning more towards it, if not agree with it, or can see this case for what it really is. So I was going to say if anybody has any questions, but I don't know if any of you guys will. But if you do, please feel free to ask it. Again, I'm going to try to not get on one of my rants again. The last stream was really bad, and I definitely did not, I wouldn't say hold back all the way, but I definitely was definitely, I don't know why I'm saying definitely so much, but I was way more transparent than I normally am. It's Chica's fault because she said, yeah, definitely. I'll blame it on Chica. See what I mean? I'm just kidding, Chica. Thank you, Swamp Lover, for posting my DLive link. Appreciate it. And usually I would blame it on Swamp Lover because it's a lot easier to do that. But I saw that Chica said definitely, so I was like, oh, I'll blame it on her. Oh boy. It's okay. We just had a little mic mishap there. And there shouldn't be any microphone issues today. Gosh, I cannot speak. There just shouldn't be any because I'm using a different laptop. So and it's odd to me that, you know, there's got to be other people out there, especially police officers or ones that claim to be police officers. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he is, but I haven't tried to vet it. I haven't felt like I needed to because it just wasn't that big of a deal. But there's got to be creators out there that agree with my theory or that have know what's going on with this case. But of course, do you really think that they're going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, I completely agree with Megan. This case is a psyop. It's orchestrated." No, because that would mean that they would lose their income. Because even though it's been almost 3 years now, this case brings in views and money. And again, it's like that's what I was talking about in my past couple of live streams is the Ruseks will sit there and say that they want people to stop talking about the case. It's over. It's done with. Chris is behind bars. There's no conspiracy. There's no cover up. There's no nothing. Stop talking about the case. But then what do? They go and show their faces on a, you know, I don't know how many not creators, but I don't know how many subs he has now. But you know, he's a bigger channel. So they show their faces on this bigger channel creator. And what does that do? All it does is get people to start talking about the case more. So they're pushing an agenda without a doubt. Because it just makes no sense. What they're saying totally contradicts their actions. So hey Welsh Pam, welcome back. I'll tell you one thing. Welsh Pam definitely kept me on my toes last stream. For sure. It was awesome. But yeah, great questions. So I probably should have wrote these down, but a couple things that I was in another live stream earlier, and they were talking about how there's no autopsy photos, there's hardly any crime scene photos, right? There's no they don't even show us the photo of the hair, the tuft of hair that was found on the hatch inlet, right? Why not? Why is that not? Can we not handle something like that? And I think they even got it wrong. I think they said it was Bella's and it was really Cece's. I'm not really sure, but either way, there's a whole lack of evidence in this case. And I brought up the fact that there was probably most likely no oil at all in those tanks because it was an old well. How convenient, which is another reason why there's no cameras at Survey 319. How convenient. So it would be easy for them to have a stage scene where this, this guy, Chris Watts, takes his family, says the official narrative, and dumps his daughters in oil tanks that only have 8-inch holes, right, in diameter. So how easy would that be to convince the public that all that happened when you have a oil company who's complicit in the entire thing and is a part of it? So I said it was more than likely there was no oil in those tanks, and so meaning there was no oil to drain, and that there was no girls in there or bodies. And they said, and of course, lack of autopsy photos, right? And someone said in the chat, they said, well, I don't need autopsy. The last thing I want to see is autopsy photos. I don't want to see pictures of, horrific pictures of deceased victims that were covered in oil. And I get that. I don't want to see those either. But it's not about seeing those autopsy photos. It's about the fact that there's so many inconsistencies in this case and red flags that it's like, if they've lied about one thing and those things, then what else have they lied about? And they pretty much said in the chat that that picture that I brought up in the last live stream, that picture with the hazmat crew is more than enough proof in itself. And I said, are you kidding me? It's just a picture. It proves nothing. So you should be questioning, regardless if you want to see autopsy photos or not. The fact that they have lied about many things, you have to ask yourself again, what else have they lied about? And could they possibly be lying about everything? Wait, what happened? Take whose wrench? I gotta start paying attention to the chat. And it's true, Shan is a gynecologist. And I'm not 5'4". I'm okay, I'm 5'4". 5'4". I'm 5'4" and a half on a good day. Hey, West Haven. Hey, Nuck and Futz. I'm on earlier today, so hopefully you're happy about that. I tried to do this earlier, and I still rescheduled it. Oh, nothing happened. Okay, excuse me. So this person was pretty much saying that all they needed was that picture of the hazmat crew to prove that the girls were actually in the tank and that there were bodies in there, or that there was oil. They said, why would they? I mean, so you're saying that the hazmat crew and the police and everyone involved in this case would just be, in on it? How do we know? Like, I mean, this might be crazy conspiratorial, but how do we know they didn't dump some not cadaver, but some dummies, right? No offense, but some dummies that were the size of children into that into that oil tank. And let's say if there was oil in there and that hazmat crew pulled them out, if they're covered in oil, how would they know any difference? It's like, I don't know why people can think that there's so much of a cover up here, and that law enforcement and the government are capable of covering up, like some sort of conspiracy, like covering up for Nicole Kessinger dating another woman dating another woman. She could have been dating another dating someone higher up at Anadarko. I don't know why I said woman. That was weird. Um, but hey, hard eyes. Um, so if they're capable of that, is what I'm saying, then why do they think it's so crazy that they could possibly make up the whole thing to push an agenda? Oh, don't tell me Chica's pregnant again. Congratulations, though, Chica. That's amazing. Hello, Firefly Whiskers. Coroner and medical examiner would notice dummy bodies, as would crime scene analysts. Okay, so here's the thing. When you're dealing with an orchestrated event, it's more than likely that there was no real autopsy done. Okay, everything in this case is made up. So there was no Nutgate, there was no affair, there was there was no deaths. There was okay. Now I'm really gonna get into trouble because I just said that. And I can't believe I just said I'm going to get into trouble. Like I'm 10 years old. It's absolutely ridiculous. Hey, Mel. Um, I mean, again, I've challenged anybody to give me one example, give me one proof in this case that we've been told. Hey, Mike, dropping bomb. That you can prove without a reasonable doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt, that it actually happened. Please prove to me that Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger were actually having an affair and they were actually doing it 6 times a day. Can you prove that to me? Or are you just going to show me something in the discovery that says that? Or are you just going to say, well, law enforcement told me or that the government told me? Everything that hey, Ashley, everything that we've been told in this case and in true crime in general is all hearsay. How would any of us be able to vet any of this information? Even if you look it up online, it could still not be real. It could still be fake. Hey, Shadow Dancer. And to say that people wouldn't do things like that there was no way that this many people would be involved. Number one, not that many people have to be involved. Not everybody has to be involved. But the fact of the matter is they can legally, the mainstream media and the U.S. government can legally lie to us and push propaganda. That means they can fabricate whatever news story they want, whatever event they want, and we cannot get mad. We have no say in it because of that Smith Modernization Act of 2012. And they were still doing it before that bill was passed, but now they can do it legally. And they don't have to explain themselves for it. That's why they've not come out and answered any questions. That's why they, Rourke says, "Oh, it's not a witch hunt," and he still didn't answer the question about the September search by Nicole Kessinger. They want us to send us down rabbit holes. They want us to go and search all these people online. That's why no one's information was redacted. Because if it was like it's supposed to be, for their protection and for their privacy, what would we have? What, as true crime enthusiasts, what would we have to look up on these people? We wouldn't have anything. We would have Nicole Kessinger's name should have been protected as well because she was the mistress. She was the closest person to him. But instead, her name was, displayed all over the place. Yeah, Christy, and lack of emotion. And regardless if someone says that people deal with death differently, it's like, how come in all these tragic events where shit doesn't add up and there's many red flags, there's so much lack of emotion? That's not true, Firefly. That's not true at all. How do we know that Nicole Kessinger didn't grow up on a military base? Because a lot of the times with these orchestrated events, the people involved, your main characters, will have either acting experience, prior acting experience, or they are involved somehow with the military. So how do we know Nicole Kessinger didn't grow up on a military base and she was a little baby Nicole Kessinger mistress, right? How do we know that? How do we know that people that know her didn't sign non-disclosure agreements? I don't know specifically how or why people don't speak out that about these main characters and these orchestrated events and say, "Hey, I knew her. I knew." I don't know why. I don't know how exactly. All I know is that they don't, and there's a reason for it. Yeah, Shadow Dancer. I think so too. And there's been um people have mentioned that she uses certain like military keywords. Like I forgot, I can't think of it right now, but I'll think of it. And that's the thing too. Melmac says, why in the heck hasn't anyone from NK's past come forward like ever? Is that not strange in on itself? Did NK ever exist? That's the thing. Did she ever exist? Like, obviously, yeah. I mean, we can see she's on video, she's speaking, she's a real person, right? She's not like some like hologram as far as we know. I mean, who knows nowadays, right? With technology. But maybe Nicole Kessinger isn't even her real name. Those photos of her from Denver News, many people have said that those have been photoshopped and it's not even really what she looks like. I mean, who knows? Like, they could put somebody else's nose on Nicole Kessinger's face in those uh sand dune photos. I mean, look at the deep fake photos. If you're not familiar with deep fake, I mean, videos, go look those up. Those are insane. The technology these days are insane. So anything is possible. So unless you've ever known Nicole Kessinger, the real Nicole Kessinger in real life, then how do we know that she even is actually really Nicole Kessinger and not just some made up character for some real life movie on the world stage? So again, I challenge anyone to give me one piece of evidence from this case or one thing that we've been told from this case that they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Give me solid proof that what we've been told is true. Any of it. How do we know that Shanann really flew into Phoenix, Arizona on that day? How do we know that she ate at the Thirsty Lion on that day? There's no timestamp. It's just a picture of her and her friends at the supposedly Thirsty Lion. How do we know she was ever on that flight? Because why? Because the discovery says that she was on this flight, from PHX to DEN at this time, and this is the flight number. I could give you a flight number, look one up right now from whatever, and tell you that I'll be on that flight. Does that mean that I'm really going to be on that flight? No. But everybody just believes it because that's what they were told. Because law enforcement or the government or whatever, or the official narrative says so. So you still have to take everything with a grain of salt. If you cannot prove it for yourself or vet the information for yourself, unless you were on that plane with Shanann Watts and you can prove it to me, then it's all hearsay. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to hey Rob, that's what I'm trying to make, or not make, but that's what I'm trying to show you guys, is that not everything is what it seems. And just because someone told us that, or because the official narrative told us that, it doesn't make it factual. All it does is make it a story. Yeah, Round and Round was on the moon yesterday. They could tell us that, but does that mean that they really were? No. Even as, ridiculous as it sounds, Just like fitting 8-inch toddlers into 8-inch holes. It doesn't sound realistic, but people will just believe it because that's what the official narrative says. Do you ever feel we can find out what NK changed his name to? And no, no, we can't. And that's the thing. It's like, how do we know that she even had a name change? Because it was written on a document on the internet. Like, I could write out a document saying that I changed my name today as well, and I could post it online. But does that mean I really changed my name, or does that mean that it was even my name before that, before I changed my name? No. And that's what I'm trying again to make people see, is that not everything is what it seems. And just because it's written on a piece of paper, do you know how easy it would be, you guys, they could have had this discovery written out way before August 13th, right? All they would have had to do, I mean, it's not that big. You're talking 1,900 pages, a little over 1,900 pages. They do it all the time for cases, right? All they had to do was write that discovery out prior, way before August 13th, go in and edit it. They had 3 months to go in and make little tweaks to it and edit, it raining or whatever, from that day. That's all they had to do. But the main storyline of it was more than likely already written. And even if it wasn't, all these officers involved all they had to do was go about their daily lives, or and do their job. And so if they, if that one officer went around and canvassed the neighborhood and questioned the neighbors, right? All he would have to do is go back and give his statement and give his report about that day with the witnesses, and that's it. He doesn't have to be in the know. He doesn't have to know everything that's going on. He might, but he might have simply just been doing his job that day. Have his body cam turned on. Since there's body camera, whoever goes and documents everything, the audio that was set on the body cam footage, they didn't even do that, actually. So they're just doing their job. If Baumhover told one of the officers, hey, I need you to go hand out these be on the lookout flyers to people going in and out of the neighborhood, that officer is going to go and do that because that's what his superior told him to go do. Does that mean that he has to be in the know and that he's in on the conspiracy or the orchestration? No, he's just simply doing his job as an officer, what he does every single day. Are you talking about Shadow Dancer? Are you talking about Nicole Kessinger's interview? The discrepancy on the timestamp in the discovery? Because if that's what you're talking about, yeah, you're correct. It's like, how was that already taken place on August 10th when the murders didn't even happen to August 13th? So somebody fudged up, if that's what you're referring to. Yeah, definitely. Is it hot in Colorado, Rob? Yeah, great point, Swamp Lover. They have most of the world convinced that CV-19 is a pandemic. Pulling off this Watts case is cake for them. Yeah, and don't mention cake because I love cake. Now I want cake. Dang it. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it would be simple for them. I mean, compared to CV-19 and 9/11, the Watts case is cake. I mean, it's nothing. It's so easy to pull off. But you have to remember, again, that just because you see something in a picture or that's what you're told is happening in a picture, it doesn't make it true. Unless you physically see, and I'm not saying that I want to see bodies being pulled from oil tanks, deceased bodies. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that unless I physically see that for myself, or it's my child that's being, which, God forbid if anybody that happened to anybody's child, but unless I know for a fact that's what's happening or that's what happened, I'm going to continue to ask questions and I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. Especially, again, I'm not questioning these events, these tragic events that don't add up. And I know I sound repetitive, but I'm not questioning the ones that add up. Not that many of them do, because most of these high profile events, shit ain't adding up. Okay? Let me tell you that. But again, I'm not questioning the ones that add up. I'm questioning the ones that have many red flags and holes in their narrative, which anybody should. Everyone should be questioning if 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 all of these people that are in the true crime community are saying that there's a cover up, there's a conspiracy, why doesn't this add up? Why doesn't that add up? Why are there so many inconsistencies? Then you should be questioning everything. If they, again, have lied about that, then what else have they lied about? Could they have possibly lied about deaths? Could they have lied about pulling girls out of oil tanks? Could they have lied about much, much more? Of course they could have. So why stop at just a conspiracy? Why not go further? Why not ask more questions? Why not say, hey, maybe what we've been told in that hazmat picture is not really happening? Because if they've lied about many, many other things in this case, then how do we know they're not lying about that? How do we know that it's not just some sort of trick to convince the majority of people, knowing that they will just believe it because they were told that? Hi, Violet. No, in my opinion, no. She is not. And there's a reason why they're pushing these the mainstream media is giving so much attention to certain cases. Why, when there's so much murder out there, why is it that only certain cases get so much mainstream media attention? And I'm not talking, some. I'm talking like a lot of attention, to where they're just putting it out there. Every single news outlet is covering it. That's all they talk about. Why is it that only some get so much attention? That's what people need to ask themselves. Because, that maybe this is too soon to say it, but from what I can see from being in the true crime community, it's a lie. This whole true crime community, that all these cases that people are talking about are based on lies. These mainstream profile cases that people discuss and dissect and bury their heads in and go down rabbit holes in and discuss day after day after day are based on lies. They are being deceived. So your Tristan Bailey case, your Cash Gernon case, your what's another one? Oh, Alexis, what's her name? I was gonna say Alexis Swampy. What's her last name? Sharky. Swamp Shark. Same thing, right? Swamp Lover. Alexis Sharkey case. Your what's the newest one? Oh, that the two little boys gone missing. Your Summer Wells case. These are all made up stories, and I don't. That's probably really going to offend people. Hey, Jacqueline, good to see you. Wow, long time no see. But these high-profile murder cases that get and missing persons cases that are getting all this mainstream media attention are made up to push agendas. To keep people distracted. I don't know the specific agenda for each and every single one. I do know for the Watts case. Hey, Sophia. Hey, Roja. Yeah, the censorship they're clearly pushing right now. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. And I just it boggles my mind how some people don't see it, how they don't see the that what clearly the Ruseks are doing. They're clearly pushing an agenda by not staying off social media and contradicting themselves. Tinfoil merch. I did think about making just shirts that say "Think for yourself," and as cheesy as that seems, but I'm sure I could come up with some with my sarcasm, some funny ones. But hey, 1 hour dry floors. I've heard about the Tori Stafford case in Canada. I actually did look into that Firefly Whiskers, and to be honest, I mean, I didn't look into it extensively, but from what I could see, I did think that the parents were a bit strange, but I didn't get that sense of. I didn't get that feeling that it was could potentially be a psyop or a false flag. I did not get that feeling from that case. Although, again, I didn't look into it that extensively, but I didn't see any like immediate red flags from it. So, again, I'm not saying that all of the high profile cases are orchestrated. But again, it's the ones where they don't add up and there's holes in their narrative. Because the reason, in my opinion, why they don't add up sometimes, like, well, for instance, with the Watts case, some of the mistakes could be simply mistakes because they, shit happens, mistakes happen. But it could also be that there are mistakes and inconsistencies on purpose, knowing that people are going in the true crime community are going to notice those inconsistencies. Same thing with the Las Vegas shooting. People began to notice that there were discrepancies with the LVMPD and in the FIT report, and nothing was adding up. So everyone was leaning towards it being a cover up by the LVMPD and by the FBI. When really it was a false flag. So there's inconsistencies on purpose because they know that being true crime enthusiasts and how you guys, pick out, like pick all the inconsistencies and go through the discovery with a fine-tooth comb, they know that. And then you're going to try and figure out, well, why doesn't this add up? Why doesn't that add up? Where's Jimbo? Why wasn't he interviewed? Why wasn't Shanann wearing the same shirt that she was wearing at the restaurant? Why did she change? Whatever, you name it. There's so many. They know that people are going to pick up on that, and they're going to be focused on that and literally try to dissect the case and try to solve the case, when in reality, there's no way that this case was meant to be solved, ever. And they're never going to come out and answer all these questions that they left people with, ever. So people in the true crime community can try to dissect this case for years. They will never, ever know the truth. They will never solve it based on the official narrative. Ever. Nicole Kessinger will never be brought to justice. She will never be given a polygraph test. She will never, you will not see her again. And if she is, I'll be the first one to come out and say that I was wrong. But I've seen it before, like with the Las Vegas shooting. Mary Lou Danley was the closest person to Stephen Paddock. She was never investigated. She was hardly treated as a suspect. She was barely even given a slap on the wrist for anything. She never came out and gave a public statement. She had an attorney hold on. Slow down, Megan. She had her attorney come out and give a public statement for her. However, she never did come out and give one herself. She never went on any, mainstream media outlets like Dateline or anything. She never gave any interviews. She had hardly any footprint online, right? She had a Facebook, but there was only like maybe 2 pictures of her and Paddock, a couple pictures of her and her friends. Nobody came out and claimed to have known this woman. No enemies, no ex-boyfriends, no ex-husbands, nothing. She literally disappeared off the face of the earth, just like Nicole Kessinger. So when I see that again in another event, another tragic event, even though they're 2 different ones, one was a mass shooting and one was a family homicide case. Still tragic. Both don't add up. Both women that were the closest to the murderer, alleged murderer, were never treated as suspects, disappeared, never came out and gave public statements, never wrote a book, nothing. Nobody knew either one of them. Nobody claimed to know them to get their 15 minutes of fame, nothing. So when I see that throws off red flags to me. And it shows patterns. It shows consistency. And I'm more inclined to go with patterns and consistency than I am over, cover up, conspiracy, or anything else. And I'm especially not going to believe anything that the official narrative tells me when there's so many things that don't add up. Hey, Jingle Kringle. I like that name, by the way. I've scoured the interwebs, and that includes deep web, for photos or other videos, and there isn't anything. Nada. This is highly suspicious. Very. Swamp Lover says they can be all psyops. The media is in constant need of stories to feed us, and your government wants you living in fear. They need us to want and need them. Exactly. Very well said. They always want us to constantly be in fear. They want us to think that you're not safe going to a country music festival in Las Vegas. They want you to think that you're not safe going to your local church because someone might shoot up the church. They want you to think that your husband who you trust with your life and your children's life, that would never hurt a fly, never talks back, is just an amazing father and husband. They want you to think that if someone like Chris Watts can do it, then so can your significant other or your close or your husband or your close family member even, right? And now look at the Tristan Bailey case, right? A 14-year-old boy horrifically murders allegedly this 13-year-old girl and stabs her 114 times, right? So they want you to think that, mothers to think that now, oh my God, can my 14-year-old son do that to me? Could he stab me 114 times for pretty much no reason? So now they want you to think that the perfect husband is capable of murder. They want you to think that an innocent 14-year-old boy can stab you 114 times, right? This little scrawny 114-year-old boy, this little scrawny 14-year-old boy can stab you 114 times or more, right? Or 100 times or more. So what's next, right? I'm not sure what the agenda is yet with the Summer Wells case. It's still very new, and I just started researching it, but there's already a ton of red flags. But with the Tristan Bailey case, there's so much symbolism in it. Not as much as the Watts case, but there's a lot of symbolism. She was 13. There's a picture of Tristan Bailey standing in lane 13 bowling alley. Tristan Bailey has a infinity cheerleaders, an infinity symbol on her cheerleading outfit. Infinity is the symbol is an occult symbol. You have Tristan Bailey. You have Fucci that has 2 C's in it. You have the reporter who has 2 C's in his name, CC double 33. You have the family that, and this was the video that I started making. They have the family who wants to be left alone, right? They want their privacy, but yet they streamed Tristan Bailey's celebration of life live, mind you, for the whole world to see. Why do they do that? Why did the Ruseks stream the funeral of Bella, Cece, Shanann, and Nico? Why did they stream that for the whole world to see and then have the audacity to tell people to stop talking about the case? They publicized the deaths of their family by streaming that funeral live. They publicized the deaths by going on Dr. Phil and ABC and working with Netflix, which totally blew up the case again, even more. And the shoes, Christy, yes, the shoes are insane. Yeah, and Chica knows a lot about the Kanika Jenkins case, and that has red flags all over it and inconsistencies. But it just got so crazy for me and there were so many creators, and maybe it's because of the creators who were covering it. I just couldn't deal with it. It was too. Well, I'll just stop there. But so they use shoes because, and again, I don't explain this as well as, let me see if I can find that. I'll play that clip actually, because that's important. If I don't get in trouble for playing Oli Damagard. No, not the shoes. Oh, come on, shoe like it. All right, I won't start. Oh, and then, and it's also the lack again of sadness. If you go and if you haven't seen it already, go watch the celebration of life of the Tristan Bailey case. You have all her family members up there talking about her. I mean, it's literally, I think, like 5 days, maybe 7 days after Tristan Bailey was allegedly stabbed viciously 114 times, right? 7 days after. And regardless if it's a celebration of life or not a single tear coming from any family member. You have inappropriate laughing at times. It's very strange. And they use, and I'll probably put this if I do make the video. There's a clip where there's a news reporter, and he says that they were surprised that there wasn't any, there wasn't that many tears during it. But again, they wanted it to be a celebration of life and happy. I don't care if it's a celebration of life or not. If someone I knew that was close to me, especially my daughter, if I had a daughter, don't want people to think, oh, Megan has a daughter. If it was someone that close to me and only 7 days later just got literally stabbed 114 times, I would not even be able to stand or let alone speak, right? But let me see if I can talk amongst yourselves. I'll see if I can find that clip because I did find a video. where I can go right to it. Oh, speaking of Emily, um, in the Summer Wells case, guess what I don't know what she is, the lead officer or something? I don't know. It's this female officer. Her name is Leslie, Leslie. Guess what the captain covering the Summer Wells case, his last name is Coop. Captain Coop, Coup. Look up the definition of Coop. There's no coincidence there. Trust me. Yeah, definitely. For sure, Duper's Delight with Robbie Parker. That's like one of the worst ones. Swamp Lover for sure. Yeah, Dr. Carver, who is a what was he, the coroner, the pathologist, Carver. They love to use the symbolism and they're like play on words. Like, hello, a coroner uses a carving knife to cut open the victims. Carver. Again, it's not coincidental. And thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here and for your support. I appreciate it. And everyone else for being here. That means a lot to me. And close, Rob, but like COUP, Coop, not Deuce Coop. Good song, though. Oh, there's a big storm coming in. Nuck and Fut's lucky. No storms here right now. Okay, so I will probably not play that much of this because I don't want to push it, but I just want to show you guys this because it's pretty crazy. And it's something important that they use all the time in these cases. That's if it plays because my internet is still gay. So
whatever, there's shoes in the images, and it's always been a lot of different articles from other people on a daily basis. So we got 2 to 5 new posts per day, new videos, new interviews, and the intention has been to make this website sort of a place where you can go and get a general idea of what's going on right now every single day, all the important things in one place, and then you can use that sort of like the starting place and then go out in different direction wherever you want. But a lot of people, thank God, really likes it, and today actually is our birthday. It's the first year latest website, so I just had a little martini to celebrate, and I'm ready to go.
Very good, very good. And so people should definitely go to lightonconspiracies.com. Let's get right into the presentation, shall we?
We shall indeed.
Okay, great.
So the thing, over the years, I put some 35 years into this, and over the years, like I mentioned many times on your show, I have kept bumping into these shoes, these very strange shoes that are there right, left, and center. Many times when people are assassinated, alleged terror attacks, alleged mass shootings, and so on, alleged suicide bombings, alleged terrorist whatever, there's shoes in the images, and it's always been a mystery to me. What is up with these shoes? And the way I see myself is sort of like a self-educated crime scene forensic detective, and what I do is I try to go with an open mind to the crime scene. Many times I try to go on location. I've been to most locations here in Europe where these alleged attacks have happened, to several in the US and so on. And on location, try and see what actual evidence, what does the official story match up or whatever. And when you go to a crime scene and the same pattern or the same kind of thing keeps repeating, that is sometimes a clue that you are looking for the same perpetrator. Like if it's a serial killer, sometimes they have their special signature, and you will start recognizing that signature, and that will then hopefully lead you down the track towards the real truth and towards identifying who committed this thing.
Modus operandi, or pattern in practice.
That is it. And I believe that it's of very great value and importance to look for these clues. Are there any things that these things have in common? And if so, why, how, and who put it there? So these shoes, some years ago, I was contacted by an insider, a Freemason, who told me that the shoes left there were not left there just by coincidence, but they were actually Freemasonic symbols. And he said people on crime scenes or staged terror attacks locations or whatever, one shoe off meant that it's a sign, no, that it's the sign of that this individual is doing this, his part of this ritual voluntarily, just like in their own rituals. And two shoes means homage to the sacred space.
Wow.
Occasion when this ritual is being carried out.
Wow. That's amazing.
But also, I was contacted by another guy who an insider, I still don't know who he was, but he told me that I was doing a great job, but that I missed out on the clues. And I said, what clues? I didn't have a clue what he meant. So he said that the forces behind these operations are very, very aware of the law of karma. And so they believe that if they show us, even in subtle ways, what they're up to, then and we do not react.
Okay, so this is what I talk about all the time as far as like the karma and the predictive programming, and why they tell us pretty much in plain sight, or why they leave this symbolism in plain sight, and like the Lee names and just all the Easter eggs. Ole is going to, and if you're not familiar with Ole Damagard, he's an expert on psyops, false flags, and conspiracy theories, and that's who's speaking right now. I'm not going to play too much more of this, but I'll leave the link in the description. I highly recommend you watch it because it has a lot to do with the Watts case and these other orchestrated events. So, but right here, he's telling us about the whole karma thing that I mention a lot in my live streams.
Then the bad karma is on our shoulders, not theirs. So it's in their interest to put subtle clues about what they're up to right in our face, right in front of us, but yet again hidden, so that if we do not react, then it's our fault. You know, so from that very point where I started seeing that, my God, if this is, I couldn't believe it, because I thought it's so stupid. Why on earth would they give away clues about what they're doing? That just doesn't make sense. But when he said this with the law of karma, then sort of, okay, I can accept that, even though I think it's a twisted way of understanding this law. And I think these forces that have been up to so much mayhem over the years, I either think that on the day that they say bye-bye from this earth, there is a very nasty experience waiting for them. But who am I to judge? I'm just doing my part. So once again, like when all of these operations takes place, the shoe keeps repeating, and in ridiculous locations as well. For instance, this is from a ladies' magazine, Hairdressers, How to Stay Safe from a Terrorist Attack. And
well, now, wait a minute, Ole, can you share your screen so we can see the shoe?
I thought I had shared the screen.
Oh, no, we're seeing you.
Well, I have shared it. We try again.
Sure. Sorry about that. We're using a new... Sorry?
Okay, I'm just going to pause there and skip through this because they have a little technical difficulties here. But I'll get to like the pictures and then...
and so on. They're missing shoes all over the place. To the right here, there's this woman who's trying to save the life of this gentleman here who is said to have been hit by the car. But of course, before she started to give mouth-to-mouth, she made sure to take off his shoes and place them very neatly on the pavement, as you do when you try and save somebody's life, and so that it ends up right in the center of the photo of this photographer who just happened to be there. We have the London Bridge attack, which was another attack. Here you got the forensic, but what is right in the center of the image? What is right in the center? A shoe. We have the Manchester Arena attack, and of course, if you've been inside an arena where a bomb have exploded and there are lots of broken glass and bolts and nails from this alleged bomb, of course, the first thing you think of is taking off your shoes and walk bare feet. Then the symbol is we stand together. What is there? A pair of shoes. This shoe to the right here belonged to a lady that is said to have been injured by shrapnel from this bomb. But thank God she was saved by her cell phone. That is another repeating pattern, is that people get saved by their setups. So that anytime that somebody places a bomb near you or shoots at you with an AR-15, no worries, just hold up your laptop and that will save you. I would suggest, is it possible that we're seeing product placement here? Whoa. And here, the photo of this lady that had been injured by the bomb is of her shoe, with a piece of what looks like a nail put inside the shoe. And if you look at it, look at this shoe. The photographer came way later, and the shoe is still totally fresh inside the shoe. Is that a natural way that this would happen? Here we have the victim, a police officer that is said to have been stabbed to death outside Westminster, the Parliament in London. This is the Westminster Bridge attack. And when the ambulance arrived, of course, the medical staff did not try to save him. Instead, it was security guards and a British MP that were there giving him CPR, as you do when people have been receiving multiple stabs to the upper body and the neck. I'm sure CPR would do the trick. And this guy then was the hero in the press. He was knighted afterwards, but this guy is very present in other alleged terror attacks. For instance, he was the one in charge when British tourists were being shot at a beach in Tunisia, and he also had a brother that was killed at the Bali bombing. We're going to come back to these two then.
Okay, so again, I don't want to play too much of this because Ole Damigard has been taken off of YouTube a while ago. So his content is not really welcome on this platform. So again, he's talking about some controversial stuff, but I will post the link when I get a chance and pin it in the chat at the top. Again, it's a really, really good interview, and I highly recommend it if you want to know the truth about these orchestrated tragic events. So in the case of the Watts, now we don't have like a bunch of pictures with like shoes like Ole's talking about. However, there's several references in the case to shoes. You have Nicole Atkinson, who mentioned, I don't know how many times she mentioned that Shanann's shoes were in the front. I mean, inside by the front door. She said her favorite shoes she wears are by the front door. In her interview, she even says, I don't know why I keep mentioning the shoes, but I just feel like they're important. The shoes. So subconsciously, and I know that he didn't really go into full explanation about why they use the shoes, but one, it is because that's like their symbolism, but also because they want us to subconsciously remember that shoes are, they want us to, whenever we see shoes, they want us to remember tragedy and death and fear, because it's a very common object that we see and we wear every day, right? So that's why they do it. And Ole explains it a lot better than I do, but again, if you watch the full interview, I was going to show you something else about the Summer Wells case, but I won't go into that right now. But if you watch the full interview, it explains a lot, and it's a really good interview. There are some technical difficulties that they go through, but it's the one that I've been able to find that's the best, that sticks mainly with the shoes symbolism. But yeah, it's mockery at its finest, pretty much. I stumbled across a vid of some HLN interview with Chris Watts' old roommate, Richard Hodges. And his last name was Hodges. Am I familiar with that interview? Because that's funny, because there was a Brian Hodges in the Las Vegas shooting, so that was the orchestrated event prior to the Watts case. So I Google Hodges in correlation with AHS. There was an interesting arrival with the show. I would love to hear about it. Nuck and Futz. I should probably know this, but as the new season of American Horror Story started, it would be interesting to know if they carried it into the 11th season, because that would be crazy. So Nicole Atkinson mentions the shoes. One of the officers says, do the girls have any shoes where we can get a scent? Chris Watts is seen, it mentions in the Discovery when he was being watched, that there's a pair of boots in the back seat of the Lexus, or in the hatch of the Lexus. Chris Watts bought new boots, specifically Red Wings. Then you have the boots underneath the staircase in the basement that everyone was trying to figure out who it was. You have Troy McCoy, who mentions specifically what Chris was wearing that day, and that he was wearing new boots. And not only that, but he had one pant leg up and one pant leg down. or one pant leg tucked into one boot and one leg and one not or whatever, or one pulled up, that signifies or represents as above, so below, which is found throughout occult text. So, hey, Aaron. Thai folks wear flip-flops. Yeah, apparently, huh, Ashley? And then you have in the Tristan Bailey case where it mentions how Aiden Fucci was wearing tennis shoes, right? And how he took off his tennis shoes and walked barefoot. And the mom specifically asked to him, why did you take off your shoes? Why did you, like, that's the thing. It's like they make it a point to mention these shoes. And why in the world would this kid walking through forest, deep forest, terrain, take off his shoes when he said his feet hurt? That makes absolutely zero sense. It's not like he's wearing high heels and his feet hurt, so he took them off. That would be weird. But anyways, that makes no sense. Why would the kid take off his shoes if they hurt when he's walking through forest terrain? But they make it a point to mention it, and that's the shoe thing. In Tristan Bailey, her brother mentioned something about shoes. It's all about the shoes, you guys. So if you see shoes mentioned a lot in these high profile events that don't add up specifically, I'd look at it from a different perspective if I were you. And I know it sounds crazy and ridiculous. Oh, it's just shoes, but that's what they do. That's what these people in control of these narratives do, that are orchestrating these events, because they love their symbolism. It's their thing. You also have there was allegedly a picture at some point that was mentioned in the discovery, how Chris actually took a picture of his new boots, but that seems to have been missing for a while now. So I'm not really sure about that. But regardless, there's so many mentions to boots and to boot. Now I sound Canadian. In this case, but I don't want to keep this live stream too long. I'm going to try to do these more and keep them, at least like an hour or an hour and a half instead of 3 hours, because I know that a lot of people don't like to watch the 3 hour replays. So I will end it there, and at least I didn't get on a rant today. That's good. Well, I kind of did, but thank you everyone for being here. And I do see some new faces, or new names, I should say, not faces. Welcome, and I appreciate you guys hearing me out, even though I might sound a little crazy at times, but I promise you I am not. But yeah, again, thank you everyone for being here, and I will see you guys next time. Please consider following me on DLive. I do pretty much stream almost every day over there. A lot of content that is related to these orchestrated events, and a lot of other random content as well. So I do highly recommend you following me over there, because I'm not as censored there as I am here. Hello, Imperial. And hey, Deb. So again, thank you everyone for being here. I will not drop my link because Swamp Lover just did it. Thank you, Swamp Lover. I appreciate that. But I will drop the link to that Ole Damagard interview. So again, thanks everyone for being here. And I already said that like a billion times, but really thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.